The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is what it is, and you keep working. You don't pout about it, feel sorry for yourself, or whatever it is. You just do the best you can with what you got right now.
Well, Jim Leyland refuses to be negative about his team's rough stretch after the All-Star break. In his words, it's tearing his guts out. But he knows you have to stay positive and continue to move forward. It's a beautiful night for baseball here in the Motor City. Welcome to Comerica Park, Game 2 of this series featuring the Angels and your Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us. Game 2 in the series. The Tigers fans were pretty much silent last night. As a result, Rod, they lose Game 1 in the series. But as Jim Leyland says, his team is still playing hard. They played hard last night, especially on the defensive end.
You know, Jim also said that this is when his team really needs him. He doesn't need to be negative toward his team when so many other people are being negative. He said when your team's going great, they don't really need you, but now they do. And he also talked about the stellar defensive plays they made in last night's game. If you would have not watched this game, you'd have thought the Tigers won. Jackson got it started, running balls down in center field. Brandon Inge came back a few weeks earlier from the broken finger, and he chipped in with a couple of really nice defensive plays. Alex Avila was also stellar behind the plate. He's been that all season long, throwing out a couple of would-be base stealers. And Brendan Bosch really hasn't allowed his defense to affect the offensive woes he's had lately. His bat perked up in last night's game, and he also made an outstanding defensive play. So the Tigers continue to flash that leather. Now all they need to do is start to get a few hits and get a win, which would allow some smiles around here at Comerica Park, which is desperately needed.
All right, maybe we'll get some smiles here tonight. We hope so. The Tigers and the Angels just moments away. In the meantime, we send it back to the Call Sam Studios now with more in our coverage. Here's Ryan Field. 3-game series. Halos won the opener last night. It'll be Bobby Abreu, Eric Ibar, and Alberto Callaspo leading it off. And the first pitch of the ball game from Jeremy Bonderman is outside to Abreu. Abreu 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. He had a base on balls. And Bonderman misses outside again. 2 balls and no strikes.
For the second consecutive day, Abreu batting in that leadoff spot for Mike Scioscia. As a matter of fact, the last time he hit in the leadoff spot, you've got to go back to 2007 with the New York Yankees.
The Angels, much like the Tigers, have been trying to shake things up a little bit and jumpstart the offense. Mike Scioscia was saying they actually thought about doing this in spring training. They approached Abreu, but they haven't pulled it out up until now. Last night was the first night of having Bobby lead off.
Yeah, Bobby usually a very high on base percentage guy and has the ability to steal a base.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Bobby Abreu. Bonderman peering over his glove. And a line drive. It's going to kick up chalk and go fair down the left field line. Abreu has extra bases. He will cruise into second with a leadoff double. Well, the Angels will be a little bit shorthanded tonight. Torrey Hunter has been suspended for 4 games, and he will not appeal, so he'll be serving that suspension beginning tonight. So he is out of the lineup. And the rest of the lineup tonight for the Halos brought to you by Honda Bloomfield. You saw Abreu. It's Ibar and Callaspo. And then it's Matsui batting cleanup. Is Turris, Rivera, Napoli, Wilson, and Borges rounding out the Halos starting lineup tonight.
Well, the way the Angels play the game, the bunt might be in order here for Ibar to at least get Abreu over to third base. When the Angels score first, they are 41-18.
Eric Ibar batting .277, had a couple of hits in the ball game last night. Yet another multiple hit game for Ibar.
It looked like he was bunting for a base hit there instead of simply sacrificing.
8 sacrifices this year for Ibar. Abreu has let it off with a double. Bonderman coming off a terrific start his last time out, trying to duplicate that here against the Angels tonight. The 0-1 is bounced to the right side, and Cabrera holds the runner. Abreu thought about it, but he holds up and 1 away. Here is the scouting report on Jeremy Bonderman, presented tonight by Scott's Lawn Pro.
And for the first time in Bonderman's career, he is working on just 3 days rest, so that should be no problem for him because he needs to make sure that he's not too strong out there with a good sinker ball. He'll also need a real good changeup here today against the Angels because they have quite a few left-handed batters. Of course, Bonderman doesn't have a great changeup, but he'll need to throw that changeup. And, of course, it's always a good thing to limit the traffic on the base paths when you've got a club that can run as the Angels do.
Here's Callaspo. Angels have always been a running team, at least in recent history, but their percentage this year is not very good. Callaspo 1 for 4 with a run scored in the ball game last night. Lifts this one to center field on the line. Jackson will make the play. Quick throw to second, and Abreu gets back in there.
And one of the reasons why that is not a sacrifice fly is the fact that Cabrera was playing in. Ibar hit a 1-hopper to him. Abreu at second took 3 hard steps toward third base, and then he thought better of it with the very accurate, strong throwing arm of Cabrera. Cabrera would have thrown him out at third base.
So 2 outs and a chance now for Bonderman to pitch around this leadoff double. Hideki Matsui will stand in. This would have been Torrey Hunter's spot in the lineup, but again, he is serving a 4-game suspension after his ejection last night. His argument with Ron Culpa.
And Torrey knew he was wrong last night, and that's the reason why he just decided to go ahead and serve the suspension instead of prolonging it.
Ron Culpa positioned at third base tonight.
He and Ron Culpa had been going at it all night long last night. Didn't really start in the last inning, but it started in the very first inning when Torrey came to the plate. So that was something that was just kind of boiling over that he kind of hit ahead.
Matsui is the designated hitter, batting only .246. He has 14 homers this year. Really good numbers career against Bonderman. He's hit 3 home runs against Jeremy. 2 balls, no strikes on Matsui.
And that may be one of the reasons why Bonderman's sort of pitching around him here. 2 balls, no strikes to get to his Turris. To
be exact, Matsui 13 of 29 against Bonderman with the 3 homers. 2-0 is way outside. 3 balls, no strikes. And it looks like this will set up the on-deck hitter, Myceris Turris.
It's always nice when there's a guy that comes to the plate that has good numbers against you. If you've got a nice parking spot for him down at first base, which Bonderman does have right now for Hideki, nicknamed Godzilla.
3-0 pitch. And a strike on the outer edge. Well, Matsui's numbers are down this year, but many of the Angels' numbers are not quite where they have been in the past, although he has hit 14 homers and has knocked in 55. MVP of the World Series last year for the New York Yankees. Way outside. Bonderman puts him aboard. It's a 2-out walk.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. It's always presented by Beaumont Hospital. You've got Frazier in left, making his second start at that position since coming up from the minor leagues. And the infield third to first reads Inge, Santiago, Rhymes, Cabrera, Gerald Laird getting the nod behind the dish here tonight.
And the rookie Frazier will test out left field here this evening.
Frazier got some eye black on tonight.
It's kind of cloudy, not sure he needs it.
Well, that sun, you never know, might just peek out on you at any point in time, and you've got to have whatever you need to play left field here, which can present some problems when that sun is shining.
Myceris Turris at 233 had a 3-hit game last night. Speaking of the clouds, it is exactly 79 degrees, the same temperature it was at game time last night. The evenings are very similar weather-wise.
This is perfect baseball weather.
I agree. Not too hot. Is Turris hitting .350 this year with men in scoring position?
Yeah, Bonderman's best work this year has come at Comerica Park. He has not fared all that well on the road. As a matter of fact, the ERA about 2 runs less here at Comerica Park.
3-0 on his Turris. He is 1 pitch away from walking the bases loaded for Juan Rivera, who was a late addition to the lineup. Torrey Hunter was originally in the lineup and then decided they would serve the suspension beginning tonight. Abreu and Matsui, the base runners. 3-1. His Turris coming into this series was 3 for his previous 31, and then he put up 3 hits last night and busted out of that skid. And there's ball 4. So Bonderman now has walked a pair, and the bases are loaded.
Here's a snappage of Torrey Hunter in last night's game, and he blew a little mini gasket. He did not like the first call, which was up, and then the last call really wasn't that bad, but it was the first call that he was sort of complaining about, and then some words were said, and obviously a very heated argument, which led to Torrey being kicked out of the game, and Mike Socha, the manager, later followed Torrey to the clubhouse. I've never seen Torrey like this before.
Well, I think the point you made earlier probably was the valid one, in that it was festering all night long, and then it just finally bowled over. And Torrey, after the game, said, you know what? I think Ron Culpa was being a little bit of a drama queen, too, in terms of the bump. He said, yeah, there's no question there was some contact, but they'll try and move on. And Bonderman, meanwhile, trying to pitch out of a jam here. Strike 1 to Juan Rivera.
And Bonderman's last start against the White Sox was a pretty good start. He had 5 strikeouts in the game. The majority of his strikeouts came on the breaking ball. And Rivera is a dead pull hitter, so if you do throw the slider, you need to make sure you get it down and away from Rivera.
The 0-1. There's the slider, and it just missed in Bonderman's body language, and he's still staring at Lance Barksdale as if to say, I can't throw a better one than that.
Rivera stands right on top of the dish. His hands are resting comfortably right over the top of home plate, and if you're Bonderman, you really can't make a better pitch than that. Bonderman needs that pitch to be called a strike here tonight if he's going to have success against this Angels team.
2-1. So Rivera now is ahead in the count. He's batting .260 with 12 homers this year.
And this is not a count where Bonderman really has the electricity on his fastball to throw it by Rivera. Therefore, a breaking ball is probably the pitch of choice. Should be anyway.
Swing and a miss. He got him to wave over the top of it. 2-2. So now Bonderman one pitch away from wiggling out of this jam.
And nice little slide piece, about 80 miles an hour. Real nice tilt and depth. You can really see it coming out of his hand in slow motion.
Two on Juan Rivera. Early scoring opportunity for the Angels. And he missed, and now it's 3-2, and now it becomes really interesting. The runners will be moving. Mike Napoli with a lot of power is sitting in the on-deck circle. Crowd trying to get behind Bonderman here on 3-2. Fouled away. 94 miles an hour.
Pretty good location, too.
Three and 2 on Rivera. They'll start up the runners again. And a line drive over the head of the shortstop, Santiago. This will get 2 runs in. Throw comes into third base. Tag safe. Rivera with a 2-out bases loaded single to make it 2-0 Angels.
If you're Rivera, you know you're going to get a pretty good pitch to hit. You could see he was in 2-strike mode. He didn't even stride, didn't put that lead foot up, and he knew he was going to get a strike. And he hit that ball very, very hard. Dino Ebel directing traffic for his Torres, and his Torres just able to get under the tag of Inge. Great effort by Brandon.
So the Angels get 2 runs in the first inning last night, and they duplicate the effort here tonight. And Bonderman's still not out of the woods as Mike Napoli stands in. First and third with 2 outs. Napoli hits a ground ball to short. And Santiago gets the force, ending the inning. 7 men to the plate, 2 runs in. Here come the Tigers in the bottom of the first. Two nothing in the top of the first. Here come the Tigers now. Their lineup is presented by Big Boy Austin Jackson at the top. Leading off in center field, Santiago at short, Rayburn in right. Cabrera is at first. Johnny Peralta, 7-14 against Casimir. He's DHing tonight. Then Inge, Frazier, Laird, and Will Rhymes. The Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Scott Casimir. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
And Scott went on the disabled list after a July 10th start against the Oakland Athletics, where he gave up 13 runs, and they shut him down for a while, and there's some that travel with this Angels team that feel like it may be time for Kazmir to reinvent himself. He was a hard throw with the Tampa Bay Rays, but no longer has that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, so he simply needs to learn how to add and subtract and kind of pitch backwards, so to speak.
Well, here's Jackson to lead it off. Austin in the ball game last night was hitless, 0 for 4.
And what I mean by pitching backwards is throw some breaking balls in fastball counts and throw some fastballs in breaking ball counts. You can't throw the fastball by you any longer at 90 miles an hour.
Kazmir rolled up some pretty big numbers with Tampa Bay.
They're still looking for that guy.
He's out of Houston, Texas, 26 years old. Yeah, not nearly the guy that made all-star teams in Tampa Bay.
He led the American League in strikeouts in 07 with 239.
In fact, he left the Rays as their all-time leader in victories. Right back up the middle and knocked down by Kazmir, and he's going to have to hurry. Jackson is safe. Ball is thrown away. Austin will go to second base and is in standing up.
Austin Jackson just continues to pile up hits. Looked like Kazmir gathered himself very nicely off this ball after this ball trickled off his glove. He really took his time getting to it, which meant he wasn't going to panic. But once he grabbed it and threw, he threw wildly over to Napoli. And Napoli, not a first baseman by trade, a catcher, and not able to knock it down.
Single E1 is the ruling on that play. Jackson gets another base hit.
That's why they teach you, once you're running down that baseline, as soon as you hit the bag, you look to your right to see if the ball gets past the first baseman, as Jackson did, and you can make a nice recovery and get yourself into scoring position.
Santiago slices one foul down the right field line. Well, Austin continues to assert himself in the rookie ranks. AJ is cleaning up. Ajax actually cleaning up, and look at all of these categories. He's first.
Ajax will clean you up.
On pace for 184 hits this year.
Mike Scioscia was talking about him today, and he really couldn't believe the kind of year that Jackson has had for a rookie. He didn't know him coming in, but he said he is very impressed with Jackson and the way he's played baseball, and really pointed toward him defensively, not so much offensively, but defensively.
Santiago behind in the count 0-2. Ramon batting in the 2 slot. He's playing shortstop tonight as Peralta DHs. Last time Kazmir was on a big league mound, he was giving up 13, count them, 13 runs.
Worst start ever for an Angel pitcher.
Then he went on the DL with a fatigued shoulder. Chopped to the left side of the infield. Gallaspo, and picked at first on a backhand by Napoli. So without Kendrick, they've had to play some different guys out there at second, first base, including Kendrick and now Napoli tonight.
Well, if you're Scioscia, all you want Napoli to do is drive in more than he lets in. You're not a first baseman by trade. Let's take a look at the rest of the defensive alignment here. You got one Gold Glove in left field these days by Abreu. He won that Gold Glove when he was playing right field, and the remainder of the alignment is pretty much as it was last night for Mike Scioscia.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. Tigers need to get this run in. They struggled to score runs in the ball game last night. In fact, they scored 2, and one of them was unearned.
Kazmir, as you pointed out, had a very bad start, his last start before going on the disabled list, and he simply said today he wanted to get out there and redeem himself. Admitted he was lacking some confidence, and confidence is a big part of achieving success in the big leagues.
Well, Kazmir, in giving up those 13 runs, saw his ERA balloon to just under 7.
That's the highest of any starter in the American League.
Jackson at second base with 1 out. Tigers last night 0 for 5 with men in scoring position. Here's the 1-1. It gets away from the catcher Wilson. To the backstop it goes, and advance Jackson down to third. So we've had an error on the pitcher. We've had a wild pitch. Well, the Tigers have a run 90 feet away.
It's a slider. And that's down. That gets away from Wilson. Looked like he did everything right, but didn't shift his body initially to get over in front of it. That way it trickled right over the left shoulder.
Fourth wild pitch this year for Kazmir. So Rayburn now a deep enough fly ball or a ground ball up the middle away from getting a run in. There's a strike call. 2-2 on Ryan.
A little bit more giddy up on the fastball of Kazmir here today. And talking to Mike Butcher, the pitching coach for the Angels, and an outstanding pitching coach, he said that they were waiting for the fastball to get back into the mid-90s. Kazmir's fastball had been hovering right around 90 miles an hour, which is real good hitting speed for most right-handed and left-handed hitters, especially if you don't locate very well, and he's walked quite a few this year.
Make it 3-2 on Rayburn. We got the big fella waiting on deck. That would be Cabrera. Inning started with an infield hit by Jackson. He advanced to second on a bad throw on the play. One out later, a wild pitch has put him at third. Another big crowd here on hand tonight. And the 3-2. Broken bat, soft liner on one hop to second. This will get the run in. Rayburn is able to knock one in as Jackson scores. Ryan gets his 27th RBI.
It's a good read here by Jackson. He wasn't sure whether Izturis was going to catch the ball on the fly, and he had to wait momentarily, which is good base running. And then once he saw the ball fall and trickle away from Izturis, he was able to get home without a play.
So with 2 outs, the Tigers now send up Cabrera in a 1-run game. For Miguel, 0 for 2 last night. He's been walked 8 times on this homestand and really has had a quiet homestand. The White Sox didn't give him a whole lot. He finished 2 for 13 actually 2 for 11 in that series, 2 for 13 on the stand. And he's ahead here now, 2-0. His 93 RBI still the tops in the American League. Back out of play, 2-1. Cabrera against the American League West has done a lot of damage. 357 career against the West. And the 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Peralta in the on-deck circle. Fouled away. 3-2 on Miguel. Cabrera now with 61 walks is 4th in the American League. Only Teixeira, Barton, and Bautista had more base on balls. By the way, I think Bautista homered again today for Toronto.
He did.
That's 34 now for him.
They had 7 home runs today.
Beat up on the Rays.
Oh, they tore him up.
Driven foul, back out of play.
Big game James. They lit him up like a Christmas tree. That Toronto team does not miss fastballs, and they actually hit 8 home runs. I stopped watching after 7.
Well, Tampa scored 11 runs and lost.
That's not good.
Here's the 3-2. Fouled away again. .26 home runs for Cabrera. Right now ranks him 3rd in the American League. Bautista leads it, then Konerko, who took 2nd place over from Cabrera on the early part of the homestand here.
It doesn't look like anybody's going to catch Bautista.
There's another walk for Miguel.
especially where he plays his home games at in Toronto. The ball flies out of there.
So here comes Johnny Peralta, the DH, with the tying run at first base. Look at these numbers. 7 for 14. With a couple of home runs against Kazmir. And maybe that's why he's hitting .345 lifetime against the Angels. Or part of the reason why. Kazmir hasn't been with the Angels all that much or all that long. And a strike on Johnny. 9 home runs this year for the former Cleveland Indian. He was 1 for 2 in last night's ball game. Tigers gave up 2 in the top of the inning. They come back with 1 of their own. One and one. When Kazmir was a member of the Rays rotation, he was picking up a lot of wins, pitching a lot of innings, making a lot of starts. He was their all-time leader in those 3 categories when he left. Rolled to third base, deep behind the bag. Callaspo will get the force at second, retiring the side. Tigers get a run back, and we go to the second. 2-1 Angels. Bank, strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast, call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here at the ballpark earlier today, some autograph signing by Miguel Cabrera. Angels lead the Tigers 2-1 as we go to the top of the second inning, and Bonderman back to work, delivers a strike to Bobby Wilson. It'll be Wilson, Borges, and then Bobby Abreu. 1 for 3 last night for Wilson, the catcher. Driven to left field, hit pretty hard. Frazier is on the move. He'll get to the warning track to haul this one in. 1 gone. We'll bring up the center fielder, Peter Borges. Keep this guy off the bases. As we documented last night, he can run 27 steals at AAA this year. That is his best asset, his ability to pick him up and lay him down.
They said he's the fastest base runner in their organization. The fastest.
We got a little view of it last night on a ground ball that he almost beat out. Swing and a miss.
And Mike Scioscia said he's going to give him every opportunity to keep that center field job, but obviously Borges is going to have to hit. He'll get 2 months to show exactly what he can do, which is really all you ever ask for as a young player, is an opportunity, and he's getting one. He's got that one element that never goes into slumps, and that's speed.
Bonderman's 1-2 pitch. On the ground at third. And out at first base is Borges. Inge throws him out, 2 gone. That'll bring up Bobby Abreu. Well, the Angels got 2 against Bonderman in that first inning. 3rd time on this homestand that the opponent has scored in the first.
And that's something that Bonderman has been tremendous at this year, and that's giving up runs very early. And he has really gotten off to some good starts in 2010 as far as limiting the damage against him.
Abreu had a double to start the game. He sliced one to left, and it was just fair down that left field line. He eventually scored on the single by Rivera. Now it's 0-2 on Abreu.
And Abreu admitted that he's not having a typical Abreu type year, but he also said, give me 2 more months, which is what the season calls for, 162 games, and he feels like he'll have real good numbers once again, as he always does.
Swing and a miss. Bonderman chews him up on 3 straight pitches. 1-2-3 inning. Bonderman gets his first strikeout of the game. Football writer Dave Dye is now on FoxSportsDetroit.com, providing coverage of the Big Ten, emphasizing Michigan and Michigan State. Dave provides reports and commentary about the conference and keeps up on all happenings in Ann Arbor and East Lansing. Check it out, FoxSportsDetroit.com. Dave Dye's Big Ten football coverage. Tigers hitting now in the bottom of the second. They trail by a run as Brandon Inge starts it off. Inge takes a strike, and the count is quickly 0-2. Inge, Frazier, and Laird here in the second. Brandon last night was 0 for 4. 3 hits on the homestand. And Kazmir's 0-2. Well, with Brandon back in the lineup now, he can continue his assault on getting to 1,000 career hits. That's his next milestone. He needs 14 hits to get to 1,000 in his major league career. And again, the 0-2. 1-2 on Inge. 4 to 6, usually the timetable when you break a finger, as Inge did, broken hand, and instead of 4 to 6 weeks, he was back in 2 weeks. And that missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The only concern Brandon had about that finger and coming back early was, could he do more damage to it by playing? And he was assured that there was no more damage that he could do to it, so he was good to go.
And he's gone from 0-2 to 3-2 in this at bat.
We watched Brandon play on 2 gimpy knees the entire second half of last year that both required surgery. So he's one of those guys that has a high tolerance for pain.
Trying to get things started here in the second. Tigers got a run in the first, courtesy of a throwing error by Casimir, which set it up. Wild pitch also helped. Wilson throwing down the signals tonight. Swing and a miss. Inges out of there, and Casimir has his first strikeout of this game. We'll bring up Jeff Frazier. Frazier 3 for 17. At the big league level, what a year he was having down at AAA. He is 27 years old. Just a little bit older than most rookies that get to the big leagues. There's a strike called, 0-1. Frazier hit 23 home runs this year at AAA. He was also leading the International League in doubles with 32. And the Tigers this year had to really dip down to AAA and raid that ball club to help the big team with all the injuries they've had. Sizemore has come up. Rhymes has come up. Frazier has come up. And Leland, a lot of youth in his lineup. Lifted in the air. Left side of the infield. And to the grass in foul ground. Callaspo hauls it in. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. Now Gerald Laird. One for 5 on the homestand for Laird. A couple of hits against Angels pitching this year.
And G Money just has not been able to get it going this year. Hitting at 188 with 3 home runs and 16 driven in.
And there was a stretch where Laird was hitting some balls hard at people, but overall this year, when you look at the entire body of work, Gerald has been a little bit frustrated with his season offensively.
Not the kind of year you wanted to have going into your free agency. That much is for sure.
Fouled back 1-2 on Laird. Well, he should have an interesting offseason. There certainly will be a spot for a guy with his defensive abilities.
Oh, no doubt. He might have to get paid later on if he goes out somewhere and has a good offensive year next year. He'll have a chance to capitalize on free agency.
Laird was trying to step out of the box, wasn't given time, and now he's having a chat with Barksdale. Fortunately, that pitch missed.
You got to be careful. You cannot leave that batter's box until the umpire gives you timeout. He steps out, and he's not getting time, therefore has to get right back in there. It appeared that Lance Barksdale had plenty of time to give him timeout.
2-2. Driven pretty well to center field. Gorgeous on the run. And he'll get there in front of the warning track, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. 2 in the books here at Comerica. Ibar, Callaspo, Matsui on the way. AI Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. Hey, by the way, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game in this one using your cell phone. Simply text Tigers followed by a space and the player's uniform number to 37338 or FSDET. See the final results postgame during Tigers Live. Back here at the ballpark, we go to the top of inning number 3, 2-1 Angels lead. Eric Ibar getting ready to lead things off. Ibar, Kayaspo, and Matsui facing the right-hander Bonderman. Jeremy had a 1-2-3 second, which included his first strikeout of the game. He struck out Abreu. Ibar's brother Willie plays for the Tampa Bay Rays, and when Ibar was struggling a little bit earlier this year, his brother had some words for him of encouragement, and also had him try something different, and that was to be a little bit more aggressive. Willie said, I've been watching on TV, and you're taking too many fastballs over the heart of the plate. That is not you. And when you were leading off, I think he was trying to be a little bit more selective, which was putting him in tough hitting counts.
Also trying to replace Sean Figgins. There was a lot of pressure on Ibar at the beginning of the year.
Ooh, swing and a miss. Can Laird get there in time? Going to have to hurry. And his throw is not going to get there. So Ibar is fortunate. He's on, strikes out, and reaches.
And Bonderman made the pitch that he needed to make. It's a real good slider located down and in, but Ibar quickly found the baseball, got past him, and with his speed, Laird couldn't get him. He'll have another chance to get him, though, if Ibar is in a running mood here.
Here's Kayaspo. Lined out to center field his first time, and a ball outside.
That's something Avila. Well, really, Avila's done an outstanding job all year, but in last night's game, it appeared that a couple of Angels got real good jumps off first base, but Avila made some real nice throws down to second base, able to get him.
By the way, strikeout wild pitch, the ruling, allowing Ibar to reach. It's fouled back out of play. 1-1 on Alberto Kayaspo. Angels have stolen 71 bases this year, but they've also been caught 39 times. Kayaspo has played in 13 games with his new team after coming over from Kansas City, and with the Angels he's hit safely in 11 of those 13. That's something the Angels figured they were getting, an offensive player who with Kansas City was used in quite a few different positions. Played some short, some second, some third. He also played the outfield.
Well, the Angels gave the job to the youngster Brandon Wood, and they stuck with him for about 2.5 months, but he's hitting about 170, and at some point in time you have to make a change, and that's exactly what they did by acquiring Kayaspo.
Wood had those prodigious home run numbers in the minor leagues.
Just could not figure it out up here for whatever reason.
And the 2-1.
Well, there's a variety of different reasons. Obviously, the game is played a lot faster at this level, and the players are a lot better than the minor league players.
Is that the biggest adjustment you think for guys, young players coming up to the big leagues for the first time, the speed of the game?
That is one of them, for sure.
3-1 pitch is rolled foul.
And another thing that young players do, and I did myself, is once you get to the big leagues, for whatever reason, you think you got to change something. All of a sudden, you're in the big leagues, and now if you're a pitcher, you got to try to throw harder or locate better, and vice versa. As a hitter, you're trying to hit home runs, and that's not what you do. You just kind of do what you have always done. That's the reason why you got called up in the first place, but it's very tough to do. Very first time in the show.
Runner goes on 3-2. There's ball 4, and the Angels have something going now here in the third.
Well, you know, Matsui's not bunting, so your mentality here, if you're Bonderman, is you have to make quality pitches at the bottom of the strike zone to see if you can get Matsui to hit something on the ground, which would help aid you in getting out of this jam.
Want to know on Matsui, who walked and scored a run back in the first, and we told you how much success he has had against Bonderman. 13 for 29 with 3 long balls.
He's struggling this year overall against all Detroit pitchers. Only 167 batting average for Matsui this year against the Tigers in 30 at-bats.
Bouncing ball to the right side. Cabrera goes to second. There's one. Here comes the relay. Bonderman covers. They got the double play.
Outstanding job. Outstanding job. First and foremost, a real nice feed by Cabrera. It's firm, and then Bonderman vacates the mound right away, and he's able to get there ahead of Hideki.
Three-6-1 on the double play leaves a runner at third with 2 outs.
That is probably the more difficult to double play 2-turn because you've got the pitcher running toward the bag, and a lot of times if you're the shortstop, you have to kind of lead that pitcher to the bag. And Santiago did it perfectly there.
So here is his Turris. Walked in the first, did not score. Oh, 1 on Meiser is Turris. One of a few Angels this year that have spent some time on the disabled list. In fact, his Turris has missed 45 games this season. Strained forearm earlier this year. Not a lot of power. The 0-1. He did not go, says Ron Culpa. Pretty close. Bonderman's fastball today has been 93, 94. He's fallen behind here, 2-1 on his Turris. Make it 2-2.
Alfredo Griffin, first base coach. He can still pick it down there. Real good shortstop. Apparently he can still flip it too. A lot of Socha's coaching staff he played with when he was a Los Angeles Dodger. Hatcher, Renicky, Griffin, his buddies.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball that just missed outside. 3-2 now. And they are guys that have been with him since the World Series season, and that whole group down there, for the most part, has been together a long time. Now, Joe Madden obviously has moved on to Tampa Bay, but Renicky and the other guys that you mentioned, they've been a solid group. 3-2 pitch. Lined right at the first baseman, Cabrera. That saves a run, and it ends the inning. Tigers have played some really good defense in this series. There's another pretty good play. All right, Ryan, thank you. The Tigers down by a run as we head to the bottom of the third. Will Rhymes will start things off against Casimir.
And Tigers could have made up a game on the White Sox yesterday. The White Sox lost to the, all of a sudden, red-hot Baltimore Orioles.
The Showalter effect. The 0-1 is a strike right at the knees, 0-2.
I worked for Buck Showalter in '96 and in '97 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks didn't have a big league team at the time, but Showalter had already been hired by Jerry Colangelo when he left the New York Yankees. And I must admit, I learned a lot of baseball from Buck Showalter. He has one of the brighter baseball minds that I've ever been around. Real good baseball mind.
Well, he's done some nice jobs, really, wherever he's been.
He's just not been allowed to finish the work that he started.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rhymes. What was his biggest strength, you think?
Game is pretty good. I mean, he really knows the game. And his in-game skills are very good. Players play hard for him. He's a bright guy.
Right back up the middle, and Casimir flags it. Little lollipop throw.
Hey fans, you may as well spend your Sunday at Comerica Park when the Tigers host the Angels tomorrow at 1:05. All kids 14 and under receive an inside-out rally camp. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. You can go to church in the morning, get your pray on if that's part of your lifestyle, and then come out and watch the Tigers.
Hopefully a Tigers victory before they continue along on this homestand. Here's Austin Jackson. 1 strike on Jackson, who had a single and infield hit, scored a run in the first. Austin batting .307. I think sometimes when people are surprised when they play the Tigers how good of a season Jackson is having, it might be because of the fact that he's hit only 1 home run this year, and that's, I think, a statistic that people get fixated on in judging players. But it's his other stats that really are impressive.
Well, for him, being a table setter, I would think that coming into this season, the most important statistic for him would be touching home plate 100 times, which is really how true leadoff hitters are measured. How many times you score.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss.
Casimir's got a wicked slider today. It's the pitch that really allowed him to lead the American League in strikeouts with 239 back in '07. And a month ago, they had to put him on the disabled list because he had a miserable start, 13 earned runs, but he looks good here today so far.
2 strikeouts for Casimir Santiago, the hitter.
As a matter of fact, the pitching coach, Mike Butcher, spent 1 year in Tampa with Joe Madden. That was the '06 season before going back home to the Angel organization when Bud Black vacated the pitching coach's job and went on to skipper the San Diego Padres. And under Butcher, this pitching staff has been tremendous the last 3 years. One of the best in the American League.
1-1. 1-2 on Santiago. Angels have had some nice pieces in their rotation. And they thought when they got Casimir, based on what he had done in Tampa, he would certainly be one of those pieces. He looked good here tonight.
They were also banking on the fact that, as I told you, Butcher had him in '06. They were hoping that being reunited with his old pitching coach, where he had some success with him, he would be a little bit better than he was in his tail end of his days in Tampa. Irvin Santana was who we just saw on camera. He's a real good starting pitcher that you were talking about. One of those nice pieces they have down there in their dugout.
Slice to right field, and that ball is in there. A base hit, maybe more. Let's see. Santiago going to test him. The throw from Rivera is in time. Out at second base. Juan Rivera shoots him down.
He's got a good arm.
So Rivera filling in for Torrey Hunter has had a good night so far.
to talk about regarding his club is they hustle. And Santiago tries to stretch a single into a double, which is a good play here. Anytime you get your right fielder moving this far to his right, you want to make sure that you can try to gamble here. But the outfielder Rivera, in this case, has a very strong throwing arm, and that's a nice job there by Ibar reaching out to grab the ball and then getting the throw in. Good hustle play by Santiago, but a real good throw by Rivera as well, as you mentioned, having a real good game for somebody who wasn't scheduled to start here tonight.
Yeah, Rivera 2-run single, and he is throwing a runner out. And at second base, Rivera, with 47 RBIs, put his team in the lead back in the first.
Always seems to lead off as well when a guy makes a good play.
Each team with 2 hits in this game. Bonderman got a big double play with 2 on, nobody out in the third. And that dug him out of a bit of a hole. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swings through the fastball, 2-1.
Rivera has 8 outfield assists this year, so he's got a pretty good throwing arm, but most of those assists have come from left field, not right field.
Ooh, a strike. Rivera thought it was a little bit low, but not so. Home plate umpires have had quite a few conversations already in this series, really with both sides. Of course, last night Hunter was thrown out, leading to his suspension. And the 2-2. Defensive swing right in front of the plate. Laird says, "I'll take it."
Rivera stands right on top of the pitch and is looking for that breaking ball away. So what does Bonderman do? He throws a 2-seam fastball all in his kitchen, and then Rivera's got to get on his horse, and Laird able to throw him out. But it's a really good pitch by Bonderman. Up and in.
Way up and in.
Yeah.
1 out. Here's Mike Napoli.
He's a lift and separate guy. He's got some power. 18 home runs.
Yeah, he leads their team. Well, the Angels have had really a lot of unfortunate injuries with their catching core this year, and with Henry Morales out, a lot of that first base positioning has gone to Napoli. He's played in 34 games now there at first base.
Their other catcher, Mathis, was off to a terrific start this year, and I think he might have broke his hand while we were playing against him. The wrist, foul ball.
Yep, wrist, and then Wilson was also involved in a collision with Teixeira. He suffered a concussion, a sprained ankle.
That was a collision.
So they were carting off catchers one after another. 1-2 on Mike Napoli. He is on pace for a career high 27 home runs if he can get there over the next couple of months. Angels got 2 in the first. Tigers answered with 1. Neither team has scored since. Bonderman's 1-2. Breaking ball off the end of the bat, foul. By the way, this game tonight is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast. And as you can see, another nice gathering here tonight.
This ballpark looks beautiful in high definition.
Tigers averaging over 30,000 per home game this year. At 35,000 plus last night. Swing and a miss. Got him to go fishing with a breaking ball. 2 gone. 3 strikeouts for Bonderman.
If you can locate your breaking ball down and away with 2 strikes to a guy that likes to pull the baseball, you can get some swings and misses. You can't really locate your breaking ball in a better area than that. Bonderman really has had a pretty good breaking ball last couple times out. 5 strikeouts against the White Sox. Some of those coming against the middle of the order.
Bobby Wilson, the catcher. Hit the ball hard his last time to deep left field. Frazier ran it down. Fastball high and away, 2-0. Wilson, after that concussion and ankle sprain with his collision with Teixeira, missed 21 games, and he gets that one past Brandon Inge. 2-out single for Wilson. Angels have their third hit tonight. There's Peter Borges.
Borges just looks like he can run, doesn't he?
He does. And his numbers at AAA, there are a couple of them that prove he can run. He had 3 triples in one game this April at Salt Lake. But his month of July in AAA was unbelievable. He had 56 hits in the month of July, which was a Pacific Coast League record.
And with the team struggling the way that they were struggling, the Angels, you may as well bring him up to see what he can do.
Yeah, and they also had an issue in terms of outfield defense. They feel he can tighten them up.
Well, you know, Tony Regan, their general manager, once Carl Crawford hits the market in the offseason, he's an Angels kind of player, and there's strong rumors circulating that they're going to make a real strong bid for Carl Crawford, as will a lot of teams.
Swing and a miss. That's a pretty good weapon to have in your lineup.
Well, he plays Angel-style baseball. He can run, he can hit, plays defensively. Those are the kind of guys that Mike Scioscia's looking for. And you know the Angels aren't going to really rebuild.
One and two. Good block by Laird. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bonderman has walked 3 and struck out 3 in this game. In fact, Jeremy hadn't walked too many in his recent starts. Hadn't walked more than 2 in any of his last 5 starts. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Bonderman takes care of him with a breaking ball. 4 strikeouts for Jeremy. They strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Two outfielders share the American League record with 10 gold gloves. That's your trivia question tonight. And your answer coming up a little bit later on. Austin Jackson, before it's all said and done, I will assume will win a few. That's how good he is. Rayburn swings on the first pitch off the end of the bat. Borges using that speed to get in there and make the play. Rayburn is out.
Borges has already made one nice play in this game, going back in the left center field gap and basically outran the baseball, and he does the exact same thing here. And he's going to help out the left fielder and the right fielder here in Anaheim with the amount of coverage he can provide in the outfield.
Here's Cabrera. One on Miguel, who walked in the first inning.
Well, if you're Mike Butcher, the pitching coach for the Angels, you have to be pleased with the effort so far here of Kazmir, because they didn't know what they were going to get after they last saw him a month ago. He was coming off 4 consecutive starts where he just wasn't very good.
13 runs, 7 runs, 5 runs, 5 runs.
Oh.
Those are the 4 starts you're talking about.
That was a lot of crooked numbers.
30 runs.
Wow, 4 starts?
Yeah, 4 starts.
He needed a sabbatical.
And so you couple that with the fact that he hadn't been in a big league game since July the 10th. And you're right, you wonder.
And he really didn't even have a rehab start. He pitched in a simulated game down in rookie ball. No start in AAA or AA, just a simulated game against some rookie ball kids before coming back up to that.
Well, so far so good. He's given up 1 run on 2 hits.
I was asking Mike Butcher before the game, would he be concerned because he hasn't seen a big league hitter in a month? And he said, well, not really. It's all about getting your work in, and especially with a guy like Kazmir. He has been in the big leagues for a number of years.
Well, I will say this. It seems like every time Kazmir pitches in this ballpark here in Detroit, he does pretty well. In fact, his lifetime ERA is 2.94. And there is strike 3 called on Cabrera. 2 gone.
It's the last pitch that Cabby was looking for was a firm fastball inside at 93 miles an hour at the edge of the strike zone.
3rd strikeout for Kazmir.
And Kazmir has thrown a lot of fastballs in this game.
Johnny Peralta is 0 for 1. Swing and a miss.
And 63 total pitches by Kazmir. 72% of those have been fastballs. 73%. So a very high number of fastballs he's thrown today, which gives you an idea how confident he is in that pitch tonight.
1-2. He's not to this point had the big strikeout night, but he has kept the Tigers off balance for the most part. And it's 2-2 now on Peralta.
Coming into the start, he said he wanted to redeem himself from some of the starts he had before going on the DL, and so far so good. Tigers need to get ready to hit that fastball though. Changeup.
And the end, lunging out in front off the end of the bat. And Ibar steps in front of his tourist. So 1, 2, 3 inning for Scott Kazmir, Abreu, Ibar, Callaspo coming up. Hebrew National Beef Franks. Taste the pure goodness.
You know, one of the things that Bonderman told me a few starts ago was he was trying to find the right speed to throw his slider with. In the last couple of starts, he's really found that right speed limit for this pitch. He has a few strikeouts today, all of which on the strikeout, but you can see the depth that he's throwing with that pitch, and the location has been very, very good, and it's fooled a lot of these Angels hitters so far. So Bonderman also pitching a very good game here today.
And Bondo back to work now, facing the top of the lineup. Bobby Abreu leads it off for the Angels in the 5th inning.
When Bonderman had that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, he threw that slider a lot harder. It was about 85 miles an hour, about a 10-mile differential. And now the fastball is right around 92, 93. So you have to find that right mix with that slider to create the differential you need to keep guys off balance. That looked like a changeup right there from Bondo, which he desperately needs to throw more of at 87 miles an hour.
And he didn't like the call from Barksdale. The 2-0 is high, 3-0. We were talking about Freddie Garcia when the White Sox were in town, kind of reinventing himself. And I guess Bonderman kind of falls into that category as well.
Well, Bonderman just needs to come up with a few more pitches. That's one of the things that Freddie Garcia had going for him, is the fact that before Freddie got hurt, he still had the slider. He had a real good changeup. He had the curveball. And he had a couple different fastballs. Bonderman, since coming to the big leagues in 2003, he has pretty much been a two-pitch pitcher, a fastball and a slider.
And there's Eddie Bonine starting to warm up. Yeah, he just has not been able to, I guess, master that third pitch. Probably the best way to put it.
But now he needs that third pitch. Before, he didn't need it when he had the overpowering fastball to go along with a real good slider.
Ibar pulls one foul. He's 0 for 2.
And 16 steals for Abreu down at first base. So you have to keep an eye on him, keep him close. And we got him in the double box.
TV lingo. Double box. The 0-1. And it'll go foul again. 0-2. Another one for Alfredo Griffin.
He was a good shortstop. I played 1 year in Dominican Republic, and I played with Alfredo Griffin. San Pedro de Macorís. That was a hotbed for shortstop.
Oh, yeah. 0-2. That's going to get away. And Laird, by the time he gets there, no chance. And up to second base goes Abreu. So a wild pitch. And Bonderman's situation has got a little bit tougher here now.
As good as Laird is at blocking pitches in the dirt, and no chance for this one. Once that breaking ball spin hits the dirt, the ball just kind of trickles in a way that sometimes as a catcher you don't know which way it's going to go.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss. This time Laird is able to throw out Ibar, who reached on a strikeout wild pitch last time, and now 5 strikeouts for Jeremy.
Ibar swung at that same exact pitch his last time up.
Brad Thomas has joined Eddie Bonine.
And Callaspo are guys that scare you when standing in the batter's box. He doesn't strike out very often. And he's driven in 47 this year. Majority of those runs driven in when he was a Kansas City Royal.
Callaspo, a strikeout every just about 14 plate appearances. Makes him the second hardest to strike out in the American League. Angels trying to add to their 2-1 lead. We're in the 5th inning. Missed it outside. 2-0. For Bonderman here in the 5th inning, 83 pitches thrown. And the 2-0. Typically, the Angels have done really good work against the Tigers, but the Tigers lead this season series. They've won 5 of the 8 between the two teams. In fact, the Tigers won the season series last year against the Angels for the first time since 1997. Hit toward left field. Frazier coming over, and he can't quite get there. It's a foul ball. Two and two on Callaspo. Abreu led it off with a walk, moved to second and a wild pitch. And now Callaspo, their 3-hitter, trying to drive him home. The 2-2 is lined back up the middle into center. Base hit. Here comes Abreu. They're going to try and score him. And Jackson's throw will be cut off. It's an RBI single for Alberto Callaspo.
If you're Bonderman, you'd much rather see a big, strong, physical power hitter standing in the batter's box versus a guy like Callaspo.
Here comes Leyland. And by the look on the face of Bonderman, he is done.
And nice little line drive served right into the outfield. Second base umpire Tom Halligan had to get out of the way. And Dino Ebel with that right hand just to wave it.
So Leyland makes a change. Wall side windows pitching change here in Detroit. 5th inning. Brad Thomas coming in. We'll be back. To 1, the Angels have added to their lead on the RBI hit by Callaspo. He goes 4 1/3 and walks 4 in this game, strikes out 5. He is still responsible for the 1 base runner.
Well, Jim feels like this is their best opportunity at trying to win this game, even though Bonderman was able to get Hideki Matsui to hit into a double play. His last time up, Hideki's numbers are really good against Bonderman. Therefore, Thomas now in to try to get the left-hander out.
So Matsui stands in there with 1 on and 1 out and 1 in. Ball 1 to Hideki. He was a 9-time All-Star in Japan before he even got to the United States. Played for Yomiuri.
He had 50 home runs 1 year over there.
That is a ton of taters.
I mean, ballpark's a little bit smaller, but 50 home runs is a lot of home runs.
And that's going to get away. It'll go all the way into the dugout. So Laird having a tough time with a couple of balls in the dirt in this game. Wild pitch advances the runner.
And some of these balls that Gerald has tried to block have just been real tough assignments. Because that is something he's really had no problem at doing while he's been in a Tigers uniform.
How much smaller are the ballparks in Japan?
Center field, usually about 380 feet. We're looking at 420 here at Comerica Park, but typically most Japanese ballparks are about 380. And down the left field line, anywhere from 315 to 320. So they're a little bit shorter all the way around. Gaps are a lot smaller.
And Matsui ahead here 3-0. And there's ball 4. So he's aboard.
I don't know how a lot of those ballparks are now in Japan, but my last year there in '91, there were several ballparks where the infield grass was all dirt. The entire infield was dirt, but it was well manicured. No bad hops whatsoever. I mean, they kept it in really good shape. No grass, all dirt in the entire infield.
Here's Myceris Turris.
As a matter of fact, my home ballpark was like that, Hiroshima.
Now, do they have real grass or
real
artificial
grass
turf in the outfield?
Real grass, but there are a few that had artificial surface. Tokyo Dome, they used to call that the Big Egg, artificial surface.
The Big Egg?
Big Egg, they called it.
Here's the 1-0 from Thomas. There's strike 1-1. I assume it was because it was shaped like an egg.
Yep.
A run in, and they have Kayaspo at second base and Matsui at first. Angels trying to tack on some more here with only 1 out. Way high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and 1. And Myceris Turris. That's chopped foul at home plate. Well, to kind of give you an idea of how global baseball has become, Thomas on the mound is from Australia. Matsui at first base is from Japan. Is Turris at the plate is from Venezuela.
And where's Kayaspo from? Dominican?
I believe he is. So we got them all covered.
Got them all covered. And Rivera in the on-deck circles from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah. It's pretty amazing. The 2-2. Slapped down the right field line. Slicing. Fair ball. It's going to go to the corner. This probably gets 2 runs in. Kayaspo scores. And nope, Matsui's going to be held at third. It's a double and an RBI for Myceris Turris. And here comes Leland again. So it's a 4-1 game. That run is charged to Jeremy Bonderman. Jim Leland will take the baseball. So the pitching change has been made. We'll be back to Comerica Park. Angels have added a couple of runs, and they lead by a 4-1 score. Here are the numbers on Bonine.
And the body of work this year for Bonine has been pretty good. In 33 games, comes in 4-1. A respectable earned run average, and the opponent's hitting .260 against Eddie. He has pitched out of that bullpen in a variety of different roles for Jim Leland, and Jim has called him a godsend this year for the work that he has done. Bonine does need to improve on allowing inherited runners to score, though. Saw something on that earlier today. 13 of the 24 he has inherited have scored. That's a high number.
Well, he's got 2 more out there right now, both in scoring position as Juan Rivera steps in. Infield coming in a couple of steps for the Tigers. They have Matsui and his Turris on the bases. And Rivera looks at a strike. 2-run single with the bases loaded back in the first for Juan Rivera. Got the Angels off to a quick 2-0 start. One ball, one strike on Juan Rivera. Eddie Bonine follows Brad Thomas, who followed Jeremy Bonderman. Bonderman started the inning, gave up a walk and a single. Thomas faced 2 batters, gave up a walk and a double. And the 1-1. In on his hands that time. 1-2. Rivera trying to shake that one off. Texas lost today, so the Angels trying to get to within 9. They have a long road to get back into the race in the West. That Texas team has been really good. And then Oakland and then the Angels. Seattle somewhat surprising that they played so poorly this year. 1-2 is low and away. 2-2 the count.
A lot of the experts picked the Seattle Mariners to win the division at the beginning of the season, with Felix Hernandez and Cliff Lee anchoring that pitching staff, and the promise they had showed the year before under rookie manager Don Wakamatsu. Sean Figgins to bat second behind Ichiro, but things just did not go right in Seattle this year.
The Angels, I think, still believe that with their pitching that they still have an opportunity. You saw Dan Herron there, one of their acquisitions. You saw Weaver last night.
They're going to have to really get on top of it.
Yeah, time's running out. Herron was knocked out of the first game he pitched in with the Angels on a line drive off the bat of Kevin Youkilis. Three and 2 on Juan Rivera. And he walked him, and that's going to load the bases. This potentially could be an ugly inning here if Bonine can't get some outs.
That's not all bad right there. And to be quite honest with you, I would not be totally surprised if they didn't sort of pitch around Rivera there to load the bases. You get an out at any base, and you have the double play set up for a guy that doesn't necessarily hit lots of ground balls in Napoli, but if you make the pitch at the bottom of the strike zone, you can get a double play to get out of this inning.
Napoli a ground out and a strikeout in this one. He sits safely in 6 in a row. Trying to break it open here with a base hit. Ball 1. Only 181 this year with men in scoring position for Napoli.
And Napoli has grounded into 12 double plays this year.
Two and 0.
That's a good area, though. Stay down there. He'll swing at it sooner or later.
Matsui is the runner at third base. They've got Turris at second. They've got Rivera at first. 2-0 on Napoli. Fouled away. 2-1. Tigers tonight have been out hit 5-2. Again, it's been a night in which they've had trouble getting the offense going. Two-one pitch. Driven to left field, sinking. It's down. A base hit. Frazier plays it on one hop. They will get one run in as Matsui comes around to score. And the Angels now have turned this into a 3-run inning. They lead 5-1.
And like a fastball that on the outside part of the plate that was ripped to left field by Napoli. Matsui had to hold up momentarily. And before watching that ball fall into left field before he's able to scamper home.
Still only one out, and here is Wilson. He fouls it straight back. Wilson hitting .250 with men in scoring position. He is 1 for 2 tonight. Bonin is the third Tigers pitcher to throw here in the 5th inning. The only out they've recorded, the strikeout of Ibar. One and one. Wilson is the 8th hitter in their lineup. And he missed again. 2-1. A walk to Rivera. A single to Napoli. And they're still loaded up with one out.
Oh, you got to get that pitch down. You're going to get hurt if you don't get that down.
2-2.
222 hitter becomes a 322 hitter when you hang them like that.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. Santiago has it. Bobbles it. Tags the bag one and throws it away. Rivera will come around to score on the air. 2 more runs in. And the Angels have busted this one open 7-1.
Santiago about as short-handed as any shortstop in the American League, but just kind of mishandles it and then tries to rush the throw and throws off balance. And Cabrera can't knock it down.
A 5-run 5th inning to make it 7-1 for the Angels. And here's the 9th man to bat, Peter Borges. And he takes strike one. Fielder's choice and an RBI for Wilson. E6 allows the 2nd run to score. That's sliced to right field. Rayburn is there to end the inning, but a big inning it is. 5 runs in for the Angels. And you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. This evening, we asked you earlier which two outfielders share the American League record with 10 gold gloves. And the answer is Al Kaline and Ken Griffey Jr. And here's the list. Of course, Torrey Hunter 9 and Ichiro with 9. So the Tigers now down by a score 7-1. Kazmir back to the hill, and he fires a dart in there. It's a strike to Brandon Inge. Frazier and then Laird to follow. Inge 0 for 1. He struck out in his only at bat back in the second. Swing and a miss. He threw it by him. 0-2.
Kazmir has pretty much thrown a lot of fastballs here today, and he's located it well. And he's thrown it right by some of these Tigers hitters.
One and two on Brandon. Kazmir got the Tigers 1-2-3 in the fourth. 1-2-3 in the second. And the 1-2 pitch is lifted to right field, hit pretty well. Rivera going back to the wall to make the catch. Inge made a bid the other way, but he is out. Here's Jeff Frazier. Tigers have only 2 hits in this game. A Jackson single in the first and a Santiago base hit in the third. Santiago tried to stretch that single to a double and was thrown out by Juan Rivera. Meanwhile, Kazmir has done the rest. He leads 7-1. Frazier lines one to the shortstop off the glove of Ibar. Looked like the ball that should have been caught.
Hey fans, as soon as the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live. You'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you all the highlights. Tigers Live from the Coliseum Studios immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit. Ball hit rather sharp off the bat of Frazier, right at Ibar. Ibar gets glove on it, but can't snare it. And by the time he picks it up, Frazier with another knock.
Tigers have their third hit of the game. Here's Gerald Laird.
Yeah, about right now, if you're the Tigers, you know you're going to get a fastball from Kazmir, at least on the first pitch anyway, because he has pretty much thrown first pitch fastballs to every single hitter. And now with a 6-run lead, I don't expect him to change much.
Laird hit a ball deep to center field his first time. It was run down by Borges.
Kazmir was 13 of 17 in first pitch strikes. And if you're the Tigers, you probably thought coming in you got a pretty good shot at scoring a few runs.
Sure.
He's been on the DL for a month, and when he left, he was struggling.
Ground ball to third, behind the bag. Nice play by Callasco. He'll go to first. Got him.
Callasco not known for his glove, but he's made a couple of plays just like this one. He comes up and he looks to second base. Frazier got a pretty good break off of first, therefore no play there. Then he comes up and throws a clothesline back across the diamond. He showed some pretty good arm strength on that throw.
Kazmir has thrown 75 pitches. His first inning was his longest. Pretty economical the rest of the way. Here's Will Rhymes with 2 outs. Right back off the glove of Kazmir. Rolling to second base is Turris with a quick throw to get him.
Boy, oh boy.
Nothing going right now for the Tigers. No breaks to be had. The Tampa Bay Rays this Monday through Wednesday, and enjoy the weekday value pack. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, 4 bags of chips for only $55. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or go online at tigers.com. Weekday value pack. The value it is indeed. Eddie Bonine back to the hill. Here come the Angels now in the 6th inning. Bobby Abreu leads it off. He led off the 5th, and it was a big 5th inning for the Halos. They scored 5 times. Abreu's been on base twice, has scored twice. 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike. Bobby Abreu. Two-time All-Star. Abreu was an All-Star in his days with the Philadelphia Phillies. Drives this one on a line right at Frazier. One gone here in the 6th. The studio we go. Time for a game break, and here's Ryan Field. All right, thank you, Ryan. The hard-hitting Carlos Quentin. There's a strike called on Eric Ibar. Ibar is 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Tigers right now in desperate need of a 1-2-3 inning. 1-1. Good crowd here tonight, better than 38,000, so a bigger crowd here tonight than we had last night. 38,783 to be exact. Chopper hit to the right side. Cabrera. Bonine covers. Out. No! Safe at first base. Bonine. Looking at the first base umpire, Ed wrapped a while.
Ibar gets a lot of infield singles. That's his 30th infield single, as a matter of fact. And Bonine had plenty of time to get to the bag, but he just kind of slowed down as he got there. And Ibar beat him.
Good call.
You just got to continue to run, get to the bag. Lincoln Mercury Expo will really give you an idea that Ibar was safe.
The 30 infield hits for Ibar, second most in the major leagues. And the 7th hit overall now for the Halos. Here's Callaspo. Walk, a single and an RBI tonight for Los Angeles. And he slices one to left. Frazier on the move, backs off. It's a base hit. Second hit tonight for Callaspo. Here come the Angels now again. That's their 8th hit. Now Matsui.
This Angels team came in struggling from an offensive standpoint, but they've kind of perked up the last couple of days here at Comerica Park.
And a bullet ripped at first base. We'll go to second one. Bonine covers. Got him. Double play. Boy, Matsui scorched that one at Cabrera. Tigers turn 2 and turn the Angels back here in the 6th.
Cam, Luis Rivera, was not even scheduled to start the game, but he singled in a couple of runs in the very first inning, and then he made a nice throw to second base to the shortstop Ibar just to get Santiago trying to stretch a single into a double. So Rivera has made his presence known in this ball game today. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So Juan Rivera was not in the lineup. Torrey Hunter decided to serve his suspension beginning tonight. Rivera has been on both ends, offensively and defensively tonight. Francisco Rodriguez is the new pitcher now. Casimir done after 5 innings.
28th game now for Rodriguez. He comes in with a 4.31 earned run average, 31 innings, 26 strikeouts. So he's got a strikeout pitch against 12 walks.
Tigers tonight have been limited to 3 hits. They had only 5 hits in last night's game. Austin Jackson, single and a strikeout tonight. First pitch is in for strike 1. Jackson, Santiago, and then Rayburn, 1, 2, and 3 in the Detroit lineup. Here's the 1-1. On the ground left side, Callaspo scoops that one up as well. Played a nice third base in this series for the Angels. He's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago had a single in the third. Lifts this one in the air, shallow center, and it's caught by the left fielder, Abreu.
Look at Borges.
He almost got to that ball as well.
I mean, he's right there. He's in left field.
He can run. Well, if you're going to move Torrey Hunter to right field, you better put a guy out there that can cover some ground, and he certainly can.
No doubt about that.
In fact, Borges has given Torrey Hunter a lot of credit for his transition. He said Torrey told him, look, if you have any questions or any trouble about where to play a certain guy, just look at me and I'll help you. With Hunter in right field when he is playing, of course he's suspended beginning tonight for 4 games. He has really been a big help to Borges early on here.
A 9-time Gold Glove winner is Hunter.
Rayburn takes it outside.
So, you know, Torrey knows where to play all the hitters because he's seen the majority of these guys in the American League, and that could really help out a youngster like Borges.
Rayburn has an RBI, the only Tiger run scored on his ground ball back in the first. 3-0 on Ryan. Cabrera waiting on deck. And there's a strike right down the middle. 8-3, the Tigers have been out hit this evening. And he lost him, ball 4. 2-out base runner now. The Tigers get a walk. Rayburn is on.
Hey, Tigers fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or to sell the tickets to the games that you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Here's Cabrera now with 2 outs and a runner aboard, and he fouls it off 0-1. 0 for 1 tonight for Cabrera, which makes him 2 for 14 on the homestand. But when you total up the walks, opposing pitchers here at home have walked in 9 times. 0-2.
Ooh, really nice pitch there by Rodriguez. That ball disappeared on Caddy. Is it a slider? At 89 miles an hour, it sure is.
It'll get away from Wilson. Runner will not advance. Big inning in this one for the Angels. The 5-run fifth that broke open a 2-1 game, and they currently lead 7-1. Kazmir with 5 outstanding innings for Los Angeles, and now Rodriguez here in the 6th. Here's the 1-2. Driven to left field, base hit. And Cabrera has a 2-out single. The Tigers now have 2 aboard.
That ball looked like it probably was off the plate inside. Rodriguez made a real good pitch, but Cabby able to pull his hands inside and somehow get to it. It's a firm fastball. It's inside, and somehow, some way, he just kind of fights it off and muscles it into the outfield.
Fourth hit of the game for Detroit. There's Johnny Peralta to try and keep it going. 2-out walk started this rally for the Tigers. Francisco Rodriguez, born in Mexicali, Mexico. He still lives there. "27 years of age. Here's the 0-1.
And when you played winter ball in Mexico, you couldn't wait to get to Mexicali because it was one of those border towns. And
is that right?
Yeah, all you got to do is just simply walk across that border, go get some Kentucky Fried Chicken. Whatever you can get. I'm telling you. You couldn't wait to get to Mexicali.
Here's the 1-1. Little piece of home, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Mexico represented tonight in all the countries we were talking earlier about. Thomas being from Australia, Matsui from Japan, Venezuela, Dominican, Mexico. Of course, probably on a nightly basis with any 2 teams around Major League Baseball, you would have a diverse number of different countries being represented. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball, right field. Rivera is there. Inning over. 6 in the books at Comerica tonight. Tigers straying 2, still 7-1. this game, and obviously the Tigers will need a rather large comeback tonight. But you know what? If it happens, text Zoom to 37338. Enter to win a party in a Comerica Park suite. It is brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Here come the Angels now as we go to the 7th, 7-1 in favor of Los Angeles. And it's Myceris Turris. As Turris has had quite a series, doubled in a walk tonight. He's had 4 hits already, and he has scored 2 runs. He'll be followed by Rivera and then Napoli. 8 hits for the Angels in this game as we play in the 7th inning. And it looks like there's another hit for his Turris, and it is. They cannot get him out. The second hit tonight, 5 hits in the first 2 games. That'll bring up Rivera. This big 2-run single with the bases loaded in the first proved to be the go-ahead hit for the Angels, and they haven't trailed tonight. Tigers got 1 back in the bottom of the first, but again the 5-run 5th. A huge inning for the Angels. 47 RBIs now for Rivera, and he drives one fair down the left field line. To the corner it goes. His Turris racing to third base, and they're going to stop him there. So Rivera gets a double. That's his second hit.
They are awfully comfortable here tonight, the Angels.
To the tune of 10 hits. Infield coming in now for the Tigers as Mike Napoli settles into the box. Swinging to the first pitch. He drives one deep to right center field. Rayburn going back to the track, to the wall, and this one is off the wall. It'll score 2. Napoli cruising into second with a double. He almost hit it out to the deepest part, or part of the deepest part of this ballpark, and settles for a double, 2 RBIs.
He hit that ball a ton because there's some wind that's blowing in from right field, but it did not knock down that blast off the bat of Napoli. That's big boy territory. It's a breaking ball, and we've already told you Napoli one of those lift and separate kind of guys, and he almost trotted around the base pass.
Here comes Jim Leyland. 3 driven in tonight for Napoli, 51 for the year. And for an Angels team that was struggling to get going offensively on a consistent basis, they've done it tonight with 11 hits. And to the bullpen we go. Bonin is done. We'll be back with more. 9-1 ball game in favor of the Los Angeles Angels, and Enrique Gonzalez will come out now, try and stem the tide here.
Yeah, Jim's looking for somebody to get some outs. Enrique pitching in his 15th game since being recalled from the minor leagues.
Bobby Wilson, the first man he faces. 9 runs, 11 hits tonight for the Angels. Tigers a run on 4 hits. Napoli's 2-run double, extending the Angels' lead. Wilson has an RBI tonight. He also has a hit. Swings at the first pitch. 0-1 on Bobby Wilson.
I'll give it to the kid behind him.
A couple of hits in the series for Wilson, batting .219 for the year. It'll go foul, third base side, 0-2. Bobby Wilson, born in Dunedin, Florida, where the Toronto Blue Jays train. Lives in Seminole, Florida now. There's a souvenir for a young man. Here's the 0-2, and it's lifted back out of play. Wilson played his college ball in junior college at St. Petersburg Community College. He checked it, but he went. And a strikeout is recorded. Wilson is out. That's the first out here in the 7th inning as Gonzalez brings up a strikeout. We'll bring up Borges. Oh for 3 for the rookie Borges. Well, we're getting our first look at this young man, and the early returns are that he definitely can play a center field. He can really run out there, and has gone a long way for a couple of balls tonight. Drives this one high in the air to center field. Austin Jackson on the run. That's the wrong part of the ballpark. 420 to dead center. Tagging and moving up is Napoli. 2 gone. Borges retired. We'll bring up Bobby Abreu. Abreu on base 2 more times tonight. Double walk, 2 runs scored.
Well, Abreu giving Mike Scioscia exactly what your leadoff hitter should give you. He hit leadoff last night for Scioscia. Scioscia shaking up his lineup as well as Jim Leland in last night's game. And last night was the first time that Abreu hit in that leadoff spot since 2007.
I told you earlier in the game that Scioscia was actually considering the move in spring training. He talked to Abreu about it to get his thoughts about whether or not he would want to hit first in the lineup, but never really pulled the trigger until last night. That's missing away. 1 ball, 1 strike on Abreu.
And not many guys 35 years old leading off in the big leagues. Really kind of speaks to his skill set, the fact that he's even in that leadoff spot.
Well, we've talked about his on-base percentage career. He can still run a little bit. He's stolen 16 bases this year. Can still drive the ball out of the ballpark. He really can do just about anything on a baseball field.
Underrated player. Underrated.
But look at these numbers.
100 ribbies, 100 ribbies, 100 ribbies every year.
The 1-2 is chopped slowly to the shortstop. Santiago has it. Abreu is out. And the inning is over. 2 more runs in on the double by Napoli.
BlackBerry and Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Tigers.com today for all the details that you need.
El Paz is entertaining a big crowd tonight, 38,783. And a lot of youngsters here in the dead of summer.
Tigers have great fans that continue to show up here at Comerica Park.
Don Kelly is leading it off. He's hitting for Brandon Inge. Kelly, then Frazier, then Laird. Rodriguez out there for his second inning of work. He's fouled away 0-2 on Don. Inge was 0 for 2 before departing. Kelly 4 for 9 on the homestand. It's way outside, 1-2. Kelly belted his first major league home run against these Angels back on April 21st. That was a solo homer off Jared Weaver. And he was in Anaheim. Here's the 1-2. Right back to the mound. One away. He's going to bring up Frazier. Frazier now at the big league level with 4 hits in 19 at bats. .211 batting average. Bosch getting the night off tonight after having a good start to the series last evening. Frazier starting in left. And Rayburn in right. Brennan probably back in there tomorrow. That's rolled foul.
A good day to give him a day off today with Casimir, the left-hander, being on the mound. Even though Brennan has done nice work against left-handers this year. He had some good at-bats in yesterday's game. Jim has a knack for picking the right days to give some of these youngsters a night off.
The center fielder Borges, and there are 2 gone.
They were probably expecting Casimir to be a little bit more wilder than he was too. He was not wild here tonight at all. He threw a lot of strikes.
So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Gerald Laird. 4 Tigers hits today. A single by Jackson in the first, a single by Santiago in the third. Frazier has a single, and so does Cabrera.
And Jim had an all right-handed lineup going up against Casimir here today at the start of the game, but they just weren't able to catch up with those fastballs that Scott was throwing here today. Majority of his pitches today were fastballs.
Well, for not knowing what they were going to get out of him. Pretty good job tonight.
They have to be pleased, elated, really.
Here's the 1-1 to Laird. Make it 1-2. Gerald had a ground ball that was hit hard to third base in his last at bat. Callaspo turned in a nice play. One and 2 on Laird. 9-1. The Angels lead here in the 7th. And the 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Series finale coming up tomorrow. Day baseball here. Porcello and Trevor Bell. And then the Tampa Bay Rays come a-calling. Ground ball left side. Ibar backhanded and throwing him out. 1, 2, 3 innings, 7 in the books. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Making another rehab start with West Michigan of the Whitecaps, 2 for 3 this evening. He did make an error at second base, started at second base, so a couple of hits tonight after going 0 for 2 with a walk last night. And I guess, Rod, it just depends on how long he's going to have to stay down there and how that calf is feeling.
Well, let's just hope when he gets back he's able to stay healthy. When Carlos is healthy, he can help this team. But he's had a difficult time staying healthy the last couple of years.
That he has. Ibar is leading it off as we go to the 8th. Got some changes now for the Tigers. Brendan Bosch will take over in right field. Ryan Rayburn, meanwhile, moves to third base. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. And Don Kelly has taken over at first base, which means Cabrera is out of the game, and Bosch will bat in Cabrera's spot. The 2-0 pitch. 3 balls, no strikes on Eric Ibar. Three and one.
It's tough, boy, for Jim. Jim not complaining, boy, but on the field right now, Santiago, Laird, and Jackson, the only players that have not spent some time in the minor leagues.
Belted in the air, deep into right field. Bosch turning on this one, and it is gone. Eric Ibar hits just his 5th of the year, his 2nd hit of the night, and that makes it a 10-1 game.
Yeah, you know it's going bad when the table setters are playing long ball. Juan Pierre hit a home run here a few days ago. That was his first home run in a couple of years. When it's going bad, it's going bad.
And that is the 12th hit tonight for the Angels as well.
Just got to keep fighting. That's what Jim says. He continues to tell his team, you just got to fight through it. It will turn sooner or later. There will be some more wins before the year's over with.
Callaspo fouls it off. Well, the point you were making is a valid one. You've got Bosch out there was at AAA. Frazier was at AAA. Rhymes was at AAA. They're all in the field right now.
Rayburn spent some time in AAA this year.
On a line to right field. Bosch coming in with a sliding catch. No, it dropped in. It dropped in. It's a base hit. And now they're going to try and get Callaspo, who left the base. He thought he was out. But he gets back into first base. He was peeling off, heading back to the dugout.
I thought Brennan caught that ball, at least on the naked eye. But apparently Tom Hallion's got a much better view than I do. Why is that not a catch?
Well, there's no argument. Looks like a catch.
That's a catch. Why is that no catch? You can see the glove underneath the ball there.
Huh. Wow. But nobody was arguing.
Man, when you're down by 9, there's really no need to argue. But a great effort by Brennan.
Callaspo thought he was out. He was heading back to the dugout, and Griffin was screaming at him to get back on the bag. Bosch made a terrific diving catch last night and almost, well, apparently did again tonight, but didn't get the call. This is what Callaspo did.
Well, he saw catch. He knew Brennan caught it.
It's 13 hits now for the Angels. Hideki Matsui, the batter. It's a base on ball, so that'll put 2 aboard. We talked to Jim Leland earlier, and he's doing his best to try and remain upbeat through this tough stretch.
I'm just not going to get negative about it, you know. And I want to make sure the fans know if they don't think it tears your gut out, it does. Don't get me wrong. It's tearing my gut out right now. But at the same time, it is what it is, and you keep working. You don't pout about it, feel sorry for yourself, or whatever it is. You just do the best you can with what you got right now.
Well, and that's the tough part, because the Tigers still have a good month and a half plus to play this season, and it's been such a disappointing and tough stretch, but the skipper doing all he can to remain positive for all the young players on this team.
Well, Jim was saying today that a lot of people want you to, fuss and cuss and air your players out because there has not been a lot of wins, but he said they need me now more than ever. He says they don't need me when they're going good and when they're getting hits and they're getting wins and they're playing good baseball. He says, but now they need me to kind of be there for them. And I guess you can equate it to your children at home. Well, when your children make mistakes or when they're not doing very well, you just continue to love them. You don't kick them to the curb.
Brandon Wood is pinch hitting for Meiser Asturias. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But at the same time, when you play up here, it is a game of production, a game of wins and losses.
Well, the Tigers dropped 3 out of 4 to Chicago. They lost last night. They're trailing here 10-1 in the 8th. They've got Tampa coming in, then another tough trip where they go to Chicago and New York. There's a strike on Wood. Skipper trying to hold it together. Brandon Wood, by the way, 2 for his last 20. 7 strikeouts in that span. He made just 6 starts in July. Rolls this one to third. Nice backhanded play by Rayburn. The second one of the relay pulls him off the bag. Wood is safe at first base. Would have been a nice double play.
And they could do this again, and it would be a double play. It's a nice feed by Rayburn, but Rhymes comes up and throws across his body, and it's a nice job by Kelly just to come off the bag and make sure that ball does not go over into the stands or into the dugout. It's the second play today where the Tigers probably should have had a double play, that they didn't turn it. It was Santiago who bobbled the ball earlier and got 1 out at second base, but was not able to complete the double play. As a matter of fact, he got an error on his play, Santiago.
Juan Rivera. Big night, single double, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Bouncing ball back up the middle. This should be 2. Santiago tags the bag, and there's your double play. Inning over. Home run by Ibar adds another, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Here's our Comerica game summary tonight. The Angels had 4 players with 2 runs scored each. Angels had a big 5-run 5th inning, which broke this one open. Big night for Mike Napoli, 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs. And so the Tigers now will head to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th. Michael Cohn will check in. Will Rhymes leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th. Rhymes sends a slow roller back to the mound. This will be an easy play. And 1 gone. Will Rhymes out of there. Here's the top of the order, Austin Jackson. Jackson 1 for 3, had a single, scored a run in the first. Series finale tomorrow. Tigers try and at least get 1 victory in this series. Porcello and Bell will be the matchup in that one.
Porcello needs to get back on track. Well, get on track. Comes in 4-10 this year with an earned run average approaching 6.
Well, it looked like he was getting into a situation where he was getting straightened out. He had a couple of pretty good starts. But they need him. There is no doubt about that.
He took a step backwards in that start against the White Sox last time out.
The 2-1 pitch is fouled back out of play. Kahn, the new pitcher, is 23 years of age, actually 24. He turned 24 on June the 26th. Hasn't been in the organization very long, just a couple of years. Kahn, a 13th round pick in the 08 draft, and that's pulled at third base where Brandon Wood is stationed. That is dropped at first by Napoli. Looked like a routine out. Well, Jackson is on.
Should be an error on the first baseman, hit him right in the glove.
Second error of the night for the Angels. Casimir had the other. Ball 1 to Santiago. Ramon tonight had a single back in the third, tried to stretch it to a double, and Juan Rivera threw him out. Thirteen hits tonight for the Angels, and the Tigers have been limited to 4 by Casimir, Rodriguez, and now Kahn here in the 8th. Five-run 5th inning for the Angels, the difference. Here's the 2-1. Lifted foul back out of play. 2-2 on Santiago. And the 2-2 lifted toward left field. On the move is Willits, and he'll run it down. Jackson will retreat.
And they got speed to burn in that outfield right now with Willits and Borges. Because Willits might be the second fastest player in their organization.
Here's Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn knocked in the only Tigers run, which, by the way, was scored in the first inning tonight. Nothing but zeros the rest of the way for Detroit. Down the middle it comes for strike one. Checked his swing. Don't think he went, and he did not. White Sox leading tonight in Baltimore 3-2. That game is in the ninth. Minnesota's up 7-2 in Cleveland. Swing and a miss. One and two on Ryan Rayburn. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Tigers are done in the eighth. No runs, an error, one man left. On our way to the ninth. Go to the ninth inning. Here it is 10-1. All Angels here tonight. Mike Napoli leads it off against Gonzalez. It'll be Napoli, Wilson, and Borges, the bottom three in their lineup. Napoli, a big night. He's got 3 RBIs this evening. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 in the first, 5 in the fifth, 2 in the seventh, and 1 in the eighth for this Angels offense that had been stagnant this year. Here's the 1-1 to right field, where Bosch is coming in toward foul ground, crosses the line, 1 out.
It is now time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. I'm going to take you back last half inning. Eric Ibar gets himself a fastball right down the middle and homers for the 5th time this year.
Wilson, high drive, deep right field. Bosch to the edge of the track and onto the track. 2 gone. Now Borges will come up. No hits tonight. He's 0 for 4, and now 2 for 18 to start his big league career. First pitch strike from Gonzalez. There is action in their bullpen. Kevin Jepson. Looks like he'll be coming in the bottom of the ninth. The 1-1. 1-2 on Borges. Shot to right field, and Bosch will catch all 3 fly balls here in the ninth. They go 1, 2, 3, and we go to the bottom of the ninth. 10-1 Angels. Bottom of the ninth inning, it is 10-1 in favor of the Angels. They've out-hit Detroit tonight 13-4, and we have a new pitcher on now for the Angels. Kevin Jepson will take over.
He's pitched quite a bit this year for Mike Socha. As a matter of fact, he's been a pretty good strikeout guy. 44 strikeouts for Jepson in 36 2/3 innings pitched against 17 walks, only giving up 2 home runs. He's pitched well.
Well, earlier today, they were collecting new and gently used baseball and softball equipment here at Comerica Park. Gloves for Kids, providing Southeastern Michigan youth the sporting equipment necessary to play baseball and softball around the greater Detroit area. So this was a great scene here before the ballpark, donating lightly used equipment.
Absolutely.
So the kids can play. And that's certainly what it's all about.
That young man appreciates it. Looks like he got himself a nice little glove.
Here's Brennan Bosch leading it off in the bottom of the ninth. Jepson's 0-1 is a strike call.
Jepson's got a really good arm. 97 with that last fastball to Brennan.
Bosch last night homered, had a single. Here's the 0-2. This is his first at bat tonight after taking over defensively. Bosch, and then Peralta, and then Kelly here in the ninth. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Brennan goes down. Jepson with his first strikeout.
You can kind of see how Jepson kind of piles up some strikeouts. He's got 97 with his fastball and 90 with that real sharp breaking ball.
Tigers have not scored against him in his 4 career outings against Detroit. Here's Peralta. He's 0 for 3. Drives one to center field, hit well, but Borges almost misplayed it, had to come in with a basket catch. 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Don Kelly. Porcello and Bell tomorrow for the series finale before Tampa comes in on Monday. Ball outside to Kelly. Only 1 at bat tonight for Don. Also came on later in the game, pinch hitting for Brandon Inge. He tapped back to the mound. Here's Jepson's 1-0. Right back to the mound again, and that should do it. So 1-2-3 go the Tigers in the ninth. A convincing win tonight for the Angels. They have won the first 2 games of this series over Detroit. 10-1 our final score, and we'll have more from Comerica Park right after this.